Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Mindset Investor. Because creating generational wealth in real estate requires 5% strategy and 95% mindset. Now, I did mention to you a couple of days ago that the studies, the ideas of the mind and personal growth, I've taken them from the teachings of a gentleman named Bob Proctor. Now, Bob himself, when he was very young, I think he was around 26, and for most of his life he was sick, he was broke, he owed the money, and he had a poor attitude. This is what he says about himself. And then when he was handed this book, he was told about this book, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, by Napoleon Hill. He read it, and then things changed for him. He became healthy, he became happy, and he went from being in debt. A long time ago, he was making about $4,000 a year. He went to making just under $200,000 a year, and then within a year, he was making $1 million. And again, he became happy and he became healthy, and he wanted to understand what was going on. He really didn't understand what had been happening to him, aside from the fact that he had been learning the lessons from Think and Grow Rich. So he went studying. The book itself talks about, or lists about 100 of those successful people that Napoleon Hill did actually interview. And those are the likes of Thomas Edison and Henry Ford. Bob went ahead and studied these people in detail, and he found out that there was something in common to all of these people and had nothing to do with anything that was different between you and I or himself. He said some of them had actually poor education and had started off very rough lives, but ended up being very successful. And at the end of it all, what he found is that what was in common to all of these successful people was that they would set themselves a goal and they were persistent. Now, when I talk about goals, I'm gonna talk about dreams. Whenever I say goals, think of them as a dream, as a fantasy, because we're not talking about trying to achieve things that we already know how to, or if this and that happens, we know that we're going to get it. We're talking about the dreams beyond our expectations. Let's just say it that way. Now, I believe that it is actually Bob's strategy to create for yourself a goal card. Not gold card, as I thought he was talking about before, a goal card. In other words, from my perspective, get yourself a dream card or a fantasy card. That dream that you really want, you have to really, really want it. Write it down on a piece of paper and carry it with you to all places at all times. You may have heard of the strategy of a sticky note in your mirror, in your bathroom mirror, so you see it every time that you're going to brush your teeth. This one goes one step further. This one is you carrying with you either in your pocket or in your purse, so that you take it out several times a day. You read it, and you read it to yourself, and you read it out loud. And even if it's in your pocket, you reach for it and you touch it, and then there are things going on in your nervous system just by touching it alone that we will discuss at a later stage. So your goal needs to be a dream. It needs to be a fantasy. But also extremely, extremely important is that from now on, you actually have to believe that you're going to achieve it. Never mind that it's a fantasy. Never mind that it's not something that you've ever thought that you could ever do. Just believe that you're going to achieve it, because it's right here that we're going to learn how to make this happen. It was William James at the early 20th century that said, Believe, and your belief will actually create the fact. Now, action is imperative. We know that. But we're going to make it happen. And the first action item is for you to actually create that card. And the action item that you're going to do is read it every single day. Carry it with you and read it every single day, several times per day. You will start seeing results in a very short period of time. Depending on the goal, we never know exactly when, but we will know for sure that it is happening. We have to have faith. Everything will start working in our favor through many of the laws of the universe, just like you would say the law of gravity, for example, or electricity. There are laws of the universe that will make this happen for you. One of them is the law of attraction, and we will speak about that one as well. Now, never mind the circumstances. Your circumstances are irrelevant. I've spoken a couple of days ago about uncrowning the circumstances. Never mind the economy, never mind the recession, never mind any single excuse that makes you think that right now is not the best time, that a better time will come. No, you got to do it right now, and you got to believe that it is now that when you have to start. You'll begin to realize that what we're doing here by studying these concepts and ideas of the mind and personal growth, and there are many more to discuss, you will start to understand that we really are understanding ourselves, our true selves. I remember when I started, when I dug into this concept even further, and you will see that beyond Bob's ideas, I had to understand some of the things that he was talking about, and I did something similar to what Bob did, that he went outside of the Think and Grow Rich book, and he compiled probably thousands of books that he had in his library as he was studying. And so I've been doing the same thing, following in his own footsteps, trying to understand every single thing in depth. And there's this study about who we really are inside, and I had no idea the way that we actually define ourselves. When anybody asks us, tell me about yourself, we tend to say things that are superficial in nature. They don't seem superficial, but they are once you really get to know your real self. So we will begin to get to know our real selves through the studies of all of these ideas and through time. I recommend that you continue listening to these videos or watching these videos, because there are very important ideas embedded in them, and there's some structure to this. And once you understand yourself, you will begin to understand everybody else, because essentially we are all the same. Another thing that we have to keep in mind is that this is not just about intellectual comprehension of the ideas. It is not that you understand these ideas, or you may have heard them in the past. You could say, oh yeah, I've heard that in the past. I know that. I know about that. It is the understanding and the application. So we really internalize the ideas, and then we apply them. We go out there and actually make them happen. So that dream that we keep pushing away, we're going to learn how to make it happen, and we're going to learn how to get outside of that mental prison that we live in. I'm going to read something to you that I heard said from Bob once. He was quoting a minister from Minnesota, and he didn't really give out his name, but I still find it to be amazing. And this is where I'm going to conclude today. The minister says that the saddest thing when he's officiating at a funeral is not the death of the body, but the death of all the dreams. I believe it was Bob that said, and I'm going to paraphrase, it's all those things that you wanted, but you never got. We got to do what's inside of us. Let's not go to the grave with the music still in us. Thank you so much for watching again. And please, if you're watching this on YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye for now.